Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Ifeoluwa. In this video, I'm going to show you how to cut and sew this beautiful kimono jacket with drawstrings at the side and then a snatched waist effect. Now, looking at this jacket, you can decide to style it any way you want. So it depends on the look you are going for and your mood for the day. It is easy and fast to sew, and then it is super comfortable. So if this is something you're interested in learning how to cut and sew, stick around and watch this video to the end. If you are seeing this video too and you haven't subscribed to my channel yet, please do well to subscribe. Give my video a thumbs up so it can be visible to many other people, and also do not hesitate to leave your questions or your comments in the comment section. Thank you very much, guys. Now let's get started. So I have 2 yards of fabric here already folded into two. I used 2.5 yards in total for the whole of this kimono jacket, but right here I have just 2 yards. I folded it into two, then I'll proceed to fold it again into 4. So I have it folded into 4 in total. So at this side we have some parts in pieces, and then at this other side we have every part folded. So we start taking the measurements from the parts folded. So I'll first of all draw out a margin. So I used about 0.5 inch, so that from that part I'll start taking out my measurements. Now, starting from the margin I created there, I'm going to measure out my chest line measurement. So this part depends on how free you want the jacket to be. So I'm going to be using 12 inches for mine. So whatever you measure here also determines how wide the sleeve area is going to be. You know, this is going to be a cut together jacket, so it also determines how wide it is going to be. So you just go with whatever measurement you are comfortable with. Then I'm going to measure out the length of the jackets. Then I'm going to just connect to the other side. Now here I'm just going to mark out my across back measurement, which is the shoulder to shoulder measurement. So I have 16 inches for mine. Divided by 2, I have 8 inches. Now from that 8 inches point, you can now determine the length of your sleeves. So I'm going to be using the complete fabric here. So I have 11 inches as the length of my sleeves. So the same thing I have there, I'm going to measure it down here on the chest line too. I'm going to connect a straight line. So I'm using everything I have there on the fabric. Now I'm going to measure out my neckline measurements. I'm using 3 inches for the width of my neckline, and then for the neck depth I'm using 1 inch. So this one is just going to represent the front and the back for now. Then I'll go ahead to connect with a curve. Now on that end there, I'm just going to come down by 1 inch, just like the shoulder slants, and then I'll connect it back into the neckline. If you are still watching this, please don't forget to subscribe to my channel. Give my video a thumbs up so it can be visible to many other people. Thank you very much, guys. Now I'm going to measure out the body of the jacket. So I'm going to be using the largest part of my body, which is my hips. So I have 44 inches divided by 4. I have 11 inches in total. So I'm going to mark that there, and then I'll measure out the amount of ease I want for the jacket. So it depends on how large you want this to be. So I'm using 5 inches in total. So 1 inch is going to be used as the sewing allowance. Now altogether I have 16 inches. Then I'm going to measure that to the end of the jacket. So I'll just connect that together, and then I'll create like a little curve here so that you won't have any sharp edge there. So just a little curve there to connect from the sleeve to the body of the jacket. So this is all for the body of this jacket, and I'll go ahead to cut out what I have. So you can keep some of these ones that you've cut out, like this one. Now I'll be using it to do the rope for the jacket, and then the one underneath I'll be using it for the drawstrings. Now I'll go ahead to open up this side of the sleeves. So in order to cut out the front, I'm going to separate this. So I'm going to just pick out one. So I'm going to pick out the one that already has chalk markings on it. Now what I'm going to do is to mark out 1 inch. So starting from this chest line here, I'm going to mark out 1 inch straight down. Then I'm going to go ahead to connect that with a straight line. And then from this point of the neckline there, I'm going to connect with like a V shape down to the chest line, down to the 1 inch that I already have there, and then you can just proceed to blend that part in and cut out. So guys, this is it for the front. Now I have both the front and the back. So the back is on fold while the front is open. Now I'm going to cut out the collar for the neck. So you make sure you have enough length that is going to go around the full jacket. So I'm using 5 inches for the width of the collar, so that by the time I fold it into 2, I'm going to have 2.5 inches, and by the time I'm done sewing, I'm going to have 2 inches for the collar. So I cut out 2 of this so that I'll be able to join it in order for the length to be enough for the whole jacket. Then for the drawstrings, I'll be using this one. So this is the part I cut out of the length. So I'm going to use this and I'll cut this into 4. So this is going to be enough for the drawstrings. I have about 19 inches here. I also went ahead to cut out 2 pieces of fabric for the pockets. I have about 13 inches for the length of the pocket and 10 inches for the width of the pockets. Now this one is going to be for the rope on the waist that we'll be using for the snatched waist. So I have about 3 inches for the width, so that by the time I fold it, I'll have 1.5 inches. And then for the length, I have about 30 inches. So guys, this is everything all cut out. These are for my strings and the ropes. Then I have my pockets, I have my front, and then I have my back. Now let's get into sewing. So I'm going to start with the fixing of the front pockets. So I'm going to tape this up. I folded by 0.5 at first, and then I folded it again with 1 inch. So this part is going to be the upper part of the pockets. So this is how it looks like after taping. So this is going to be the open end of the pocket. Then I'm going to put it on the front like that and measure out where I want the pocket to be. So I'm using 23 inches for the length of the pocket. So that is the starting point of the pocket. So I'm making sure I have equal amounts of fabric on both sides after fixing the pocket. And I'm going to pin the pocket in place, and you fold it in by 0.5. Fold it in by 0.5 inch round. So that is the allowance you'll be using to sew the pocket to the front part. Now I'll go ahead to do the same thing for the other side, and then I'll take it to my machine to sew. This is what I have after attaching my pockets to the front. Now I'm going to move on to the next stage. So the right sides facing each other, I'm going to join the shoulders together. And then after joining the shoulders, I'm going to tape in the sleeve area before sewing the side. So I'm going to tape in the sleeve area, and then I'll also tape in the M-line area. So you make sure you tape in the M-line before joining the sides together. So to join the sides, I'm going to start from there. I'll use 0.5 inch starting from there, and then coming into the body, I'll just curve it this way and then use 1 inch straight down. So 1 inch is going to be for the side seam of the body. Then for the sleeves, I'll be using ½ inch. So the same way I just use my chalk here is how I'm going to sew it. So guys, this is what I have after joining. So the jacket is almost complete. I already have the sides joined together, the M-line joined together. Now the next thing to do is to fix in the collar of the jackets. So this is the collar. You make sure the length you have for the collar is enough to go around for the jackets. So with the way it is folded like this, I'm going to sew it straight down to the end of the jackets. Now before getting to the end of the jackets, for this collar you can just fold it like this and stitch that part, then you fold it back. So the right sides facing each other, you stitch up that part so that part won't be open, so you won't have any rough edges at the end of the collar. So this is what I have after fixing the collar. If you have a weaving machine, you can weave in the inner part there so as to avoid any rough edges. Now it is time to attach the drawstring. So I already have my strings. I have about 19 inches and I have 4 pieces of them. So I just cut out the strings about 1 inch wide, and then I folded it this way. I'm going to open up my jacket, and then I'll be using the 1 inch that we have for the seam allowance there to fix in the drawstrings. So I'm going to measure out the length I want for the drawstring. I'm going to be using 12 inches, so it depends on how far you want the drawstring to be. You can go above the 12 inches and then you can go below the 12 inches. So 12 inches is just fine for me. So I'll fix in the drawstring on that 12 inches mark. So this is what I have, and then I'm going to stitch it up. So on each of the 1 inch seam allowance, I'll be fixing the drawstring. So I'll first of all fix it there, and then I'll stitch up before I come back to close it up. So this is what I have after stitching up the drawstring to the side seam. Now I'm going to cover it up. So I'll fold in the side seam a little bit, and you make sure that when you are sewing that part, the drawstring is not interfering with it. So I'll fold it up that way and sew it. So it's just like fixing an elastic band. So this is what I have, and this is how it looks like. You can go ahead to draw it to any length you want when you wear it. Now moving on to the fixing of the rope for the snatched waist effect. This is what I have. I already have about 30 inches for the length of the rope, and I already folded it like a tube. So I have 1 inch for like the width of the rope. Now my fabric has already been turned over to the wrong side, so I'll be fixing the rope from the wrong side of the fabric. So I'm going to make this part of my collar to overlap because I'll be fixing a press button there. So by the time I snap the press button together, it is going to overlap this way. Then I'll measure out the part where I want the snatching effect to take place. So I'm going to put it a little bit under my bust. So under the bust, I have about 14.5. That is where I'll be fixing the rope for it. So I'll mark out the 14.5 inches on both sides. Now I'm going to equally share my waistline measurement divided by 2 on both sides. So divided by 2 for my waistline, I have 16 inches. So I'm going to share it on both sides from the midpoint of this part. So this part here, I'm going to look for the midpoint and then I'll share the waist measurement. So I have 8 inches on both sides. So together I have 16 inches. So that point is the point I'll be attaching the rope. So I'm just going to fold this. I'll tape it in so as to avoid any rough edges there. I'll tape it in and then I'll stitch it up on that part. So only the front part, you stitch it up there. So this is it after stitching up the rope. Now I'm going to mark out the point I'll be using to fix my press button. So I'm going to start from the shoulder here and mark out 11 inches. So that is where I want it to start from. 11 inches. I'm going to mark that out and then I'm going to be giving a distance of 5 inches. So I'll mark out from that point there, I'll mark out 5 inches and then I'll do that until I get to the end of the jacket. So I'll go ahead to fix in my press button, and that is the end of the sewing for this jacket. So guys, we have come to the end of this tutorial. Let me know if you are going to try this out in the comment section and let me get your feedback. Please don't forget to subscribe to my channel and also give my video a thumbs up. I'm going to see you in my next tutorial. Thank you guys for watching. Bye.